All right, let's talk about what's going on with the railroad, the track work, and the school buses. The railroad admitted today that because of a nationwide bus driver shortage, they had to use school buses. Now, I don't know why they can't get MTA buses here and ask some MTA drivers to come in on the weekend that normally would work during the week, but, whatever reason, they have a reason for it. I don't know what that reason is. But I still don't think they should be using school buses. But at least they admitted it. It says right here, this weekend, Huntington trains are being replaced by buses to and from Hempstead due to the LIRR expansion project. Signal work due to the nationwide bus driver shortage. School buses are providing backup for our usual coach service. So that is why we saw the school buses yesterday, and we saw the school buses today. So that's why this planned work is going on today, of course. Now, we're going to go look at the schedules here in a moment, and let's do that right here. So what's going on is the Main Line signal work this weekend. Now, what they're doing, at least Mineola is being provided buses. So we're going to just look at this Port Jefferson schedule here, this timetable here, to show you what it's going to be like here. So if you are on the Huntington-Port Jefferson line, you have to take a train to Hempstead, and then take a bus from Hempstead to your station. All right, that bus will be stopping at Mineola as well, stopping at Hicksville, Syosset, Cold Spring Harbor. But what's interesting here, and what's kind of weird, is the connections to the diesel trains, the ones that go east of Huntington, do not stop at Syosset or Cold Spring Harbor. Also, if you are in Westbury, Carle Place, New Hyde Park, or Merillon Avenue, you're screwed and you have to take Night's bus. They don't even provide you service there. At least at Merillon Avenue and New Hyde Park, you can walk to the Hempstead Line. It's not that far. But for Westbury and Carle Place, you're screwed, and you're stuck with having to take Night's bus or get ripped off by a thieving taxi, Uber, or Lyft. So this is what they do. So you take that bus, and then that bus from Hempstead. So there's basically bus service that's going to serve Mineola. And they actually have half-hourly service. Mineola is actually getting half-hourly service with a bus connection. So I think that's pretty good, actually, because the Hempstead line is getting half-hourly service. So at least Mineola is getting better service. But you'll see here that they have, some of these are express. Some of these buses are express. They don't stop at Syosset or Cold Spring Harbor. I don't know why. So basically, Syosset and Cold Spring Harbor get hourly service, and only with the local bus, it looks like here, going east. So it's a problem if you're in Cold Spring Harbor or Syosset and you want to go east. You're going to have to wait in Huntington for an hour, or at least an hour before you can get on the train, which is kind of ridiculous. Looking at this, I'm not sure why they have it set up that way, but that's the way they have it set up. So some trains provide connections to Cold Spring Harbor and Syosset. So it seems like they're kind of screwing Cold Spring Harbor and Syosset a little bit here, and only providing extra service to Huntington for whatever reason. Because they really want people going to the South Shore. It's really what their end goal is, of course, with this whole thing, is to have people go to the South Shore. So this is what the schedule looks like eastbound. Now westbound, let's see what it's westbound. Westbound, you're basically going to board a bus at Huntington, which would take you to Hempstead, and then Hicksville, Hempstead, or Mineola, and then you stay on to Hempstead, and you transfer to the train over there at Hempstead that begins at Hempstead. And again, that is why they pick Hempstead instead of Garden City, even though Garden City is closer. Probably because Garden City is kind of a rich, white area, and they don't want the buses coming in, but also possibly because Hempstead is a terminal, and the train is already sitting there ready to go because it's a terminal. So that's probably why as well. So you can see here, hourly service out of Huntington, and then you have a service local. The L buses are the ones that serve Cold Spring Harbor and Syosset. The P's are express, so they only serve Huntington, Hicksville, Mineola, and Hempstead. So that's how that works in that direction. So at least they are providing buses for almost everybody except for those 4 stations on the main line. Although I still don't understand why they can't have a bus that stops at Syosset and Cold Spring Harbor. But for whatever reason, probably those are light ridership stations on the weekend, maybe. I don't know. But they figured doing it this way. Especially I could kind of see it with the connection, because they have to go. Let's see. They give them. Let's see how many. They'll give them a half an hour to get from. Is that right? Half an hour to get from Huntington to Hicksville. I don't know if that's enough time. Then they give them plenty of time to get from Hicksville. Oh, I see. The bus that serves Hicksville probably doesn't stop 8:20. Wow. So I don't know. Yeah, you see the schedules for yourself, but at least they're providing something. Although it was school buses again because of the driver shortage. That's what they're saying anyway. So let's take a look and see how this affects the Ronkonkoma line. So the reason why they're doing this is, again, if we can read this right here. The reason why they're doing this, we'll read this little, and then I'm over here in this section. So the reason why they're doing this is because of signal work near the Carle Place train station. And there is no train service at Hicksville, so they can't run the usual setup, and they have to provide busing because there's no train service at Hicksville. That's why. So buses replace trains between Hempstead and Huntington, where connecting train service to Port Jefferson is available, and will operate every 2 hours. And then here it says, no train or bus service to New Hyde Park, Merillon Avenue, Carle Place, or Westbury. So those stations are completely screwed, and especially for Westbury, that's ridiculous. Nice bus will continue to cross honor LIRR fares on the N22 and N24 route between Hempstead and Hicksville with no connecting train service. So the people in those areas are screwed pretty much, and because there's no train service at Hicksville, they're really screwed. So they have to literally take two buses. They'll take a 22 or 24 to Mineola or Hicksville, and then another bus, the shuttle bus, to either westbound train service or eastbound. So it's ridiculous. So see here again, it's discrimination. How did they get away with it? Because they can. Buses will replace trains, but hey, at least Mineola has some service. But it's not fair to people in Westbury. If you live in Westbury, and I used to live there, you're screwed. So westbound, same thing. Buses replace trains between Hempstead and Huntington. So now let's go and we'll look at the Ronkonkoma one here. Let's go back to the Ronkonkoma one. So the Ronkonkoma one, it says right here, service to Ronkonkoma is reduced from hourly to hourly. Dual mode trains, this is the Z line, originate in Penn Station and are diverted to operate via the Montauk and Central branches, stopping at Jamaica and then all stops Farmingdale through Ronkonkoma. These trains will not stop at Bethpage, Babylon, and Hicksville. The Bethpage is served by a bus. So it says local bus service is available at Mineola to Hicksville, Bethpage, and Farmingdale. And I'm glad they did this. So that's very good that they did that, obviously. And at least they did that. And had I gone to the Pine Barrens today, that's how probably I would have gone. But we all know the clouds rolled in really way too quick. So you can see here at Mineola, you basically board a bus at Mineola, takes you to Farmingdale, and then you get on the dual mode train, which again operates on that Z. It goes to just east of Bethpage, reverses down the Central Branch, reverses again, and goes down the Babylon line to Jamaica and Penn Station. So you go to bus at Mineola. So at least they did that. So again, to New York, it's going in reverse. So you're going to go to Farmingdale. Well, you're not really going to New York. You're going to be getting off at Farmingdale, and you're going to be getting on this bus here, 851, take you to Mineola and Hempstead. Actually, no, it's just going to take you to Mineola. It ends at Mineola. And then they also have a bus, Bethpage to NYC. So you actually, now to go to NYC, you take a bus from Bethpage to Farmingdale, kind of reverse. It works in reverse if you want to get the dual mode train. That's how you do it. But at least they're providing a decent amount of a shuttle bus service, though. I still think they should be providing shuttle bus service to Westbury and Carle Place because there's no other station even near there. Those communities are just completely picked on, especially Westbury. We all know why that is. People in Westbury just completely screwed, basically. They have to rely on the 22 or 24. Or, if you might as well just take the 35 to Hempstead and get the Hempstead line. But the problem with those routes is they don't run that often on the weekends. And NICE should at least provide increased service while they're doing this. So, this is going to be the one of many weekends here. In fact, there's going to be work on the main line every single weekend for a while. So, we're going to look at this now and the upcoming double track outages here at the LIRR expansion site. So, during this month, 4 double track outages are planned. March 5th through 7th, that was last weekend, 12th to 14th, 19th to 21, and 26th to 28. So every single weekend. And during the weekends of March 19th to March 21st and March 26th to 28th, crews will be removing and installing new track switches. So they're going to be installing new switches on those weekends. So let's see, this was last weekend when we had train service. This weekend, no trains between Jamaica and Hicksville. All right. This is next weekend, so I guess they're going to be the shuttle. They're going to be going back to the same old way again. So next weekend it's going to be different, which will then they're going to have the shuttle from Hicksville running. So that means everybody gets, the South Shore gets a whole ton of service. Everybody goes to the South Shore. Hempstead Line, the Hempstead Line will again see every half an hour service with every other train going to Penn Station, March 19th to 21st. So March 19th to 21st, we'll see that. And then March 26th through 23. So they're going to be doing this. So pretty much this is going to be the common thing that they're going to do. And this is going to be March 26th through May 23rd. So every single weekend through May 23rd, this is going to do tremendous damage to our communities as everybody gets diverted to the South Shore and our towns just die, basically wither and die. So except for April 16th to April 18th and May 7th to 9th. So only 2 weekends that will be train service on those weekends. All right. Ronkonkoma branch, this was the every 2 hours. This was the last weekend of this, though, with getting our buses, because after this, we're screwed. No trains between Jamaica and Hicksville. And we're going to be doing the basically the same old, no Z train, basically. All right. So there'll be increased service on the Hempstead branch on all these weekends. Of course, Oyster Bay branch, you'll have no trains between Jamaica and East Williston. Trains operate between Oyster Bay and East Williston. That's this weekend. Shuttle buses connect East Williston, Mineola. And then no trains between Jamaica and East Williston. Oyster Bay trains will operate between Oyster Bay and East Williston, with bus service provided between Mineola and Hempstead. So that's what we're going to have for the next couple of weekends. So pretty much, you know the deal. On all the next weekends, we're going to be screwed here in the middle of the island with no busing. So at least we had busing this weekend, even though it was school buses. It's better than no buses at all. So we're going to have no buses. That means if I need to go out east, I will have to go and take a nice bus which does not connect up with train service at Hicksville to go out east, or to go west, I'll have to take a shuttle bus to Hempstead, which I definitely won't do. Because that runs so infrequently, I'll probably have to just walk to Garden City. But I have plans to go further with the way the weather's. So that's pretty much what's going on. It sucks. And, of course, the South Shore will get a whole crap load of extra service, just because they're very important people down there. And we're not so important because we're not all lily white finance professionals. So that is going to wrap up this video here on some of the service changes on the Long Island Railroad. At least they will be getting a lot of work done. So it's going into high gear now. I expect to see a lot of work being done in Mineola, which is actually starting to come along, the new platforms and everything. But again, I don't know why they have to drag it out over so many weekends. It's obviously all part of the plan, as we know. So, just to drive everybody to the South Shore, because again, you just look at the Twitter there, the railroad Twitter, and you see what they say. Divert area. To avoid, please go to the South Shore. Please go to the South Shore. Please go to the South Shore. That's where they want you to go, the South Shore. So so it does very well there, and does very busy there, and it has been busy there, and our area is dead. So that is what we have coming up on the railroad here. It's going to be a difficult couple of months as we deal with this, and but hey, at least it will eventually be over here. All right. So it'll eventually be over, and by the end of the year, and this will be complete. But this spring is going to be very painful for folks here on the main line in the middle of the island. So that's going to wrap up this video. Thanks for watching.